It's time for Preserving Your Dignity and Your Money, Planning for Successful Aging with Nugen Law. And now your host, J. Bryan Nugen, estate planning and elder law attorney.
Good morning, and welcome to Preserving Your Dignity and Your Money, Planning for Successful Aging with Nugen Law. I'm attorney J. Bryan Nugen, founder of Nugen Law, and your host for our program. The purpose of our show is to have weekly, in-depth conversations about matters relevant to folks as they walk down the path of successful aging. Our listeners will learn what it is to age with dignity and how best to protect their money. I've been practicing law for 3 decades. I'm licensed to practice in Indiana, Ohio, Michigan, and Florida, and actively represent clients in all 4 states. My practice, the attorneys, and our interdisciplinary team of professionals who practice with me concentrate on working with clients in estate planning and elder law, and areas related to them, such as protecting money from nursing home stays, securing benefits from programs, including Medicaid and the VA, geriatric care coordination, estate and trust administration, guardianships, and planning for those with special needs. Nugen Law sees clients in many stages of life, but commonly we have folks reaching out when they or a loved one are showing signs of needing help. Those signs may include a chronic ailment or progressive decline before, during, or after a hospitalization, an instance of incapacity, caregiver burnout, stress on family members due to some or all of those instances I just mentioned. As a reminder, if you hear something in today's broadcast which resonates with you, an area in which we may be able to help, please call Nugen Law at 260-925-3738. Speak with one of our intake specialists and schedule a meeting for either our Fort Wayne office or our Auburn office. You also can shoot us an email at help@nugenlaw.com, HELP at NUGENLAW.com, help@nugenlaw.com. Of course, you can also visit us on our website, www.nugenlaw.com. So today, I have a member of the Nugen Law interdisciplinary team, Brian Grubb, our elder care coordinator, or as we call him, BG. Before we get into asking BG any questions, you should know that he has a degree in psychology. He's a licensed social worker, having been licensed for 30-plus years. BG is a huge part of how Nugen Law strives to preserve and protect the dignity of our clients and to help our clients addressing some of those signs of need. A Nugen Law Elder Care Coordinator, our BG, is a professional, such as a social worker who specializes in assisting older people and their families to attain the highest quality of life given their circumstances. Care coordination aims to offer holistic care. They monitor their clients and coordinate plans for them to educate them about their illness or condition and connect them with various medical professionals, care providers, other community resources as needed for them to enjoy the highest quality of life possible. BG, please explain in your own words what services you provide as an elder care coordinator for your Nugen Law clients who may be facing a chronic ailment or progressive decline before, during, after hospitalization, an instance of incapacity, or their family members dealing with caregiver burnout, stress on family members, etc.
Yeah. Good morning, Brian.
Good morning.
Yeah, the elder care role is there are a lot of things that I do. One of the main things that I do would be help individuals go through processes that we're helping them through with Medicaid processes, Medicaid waiver, advocating for those individuals in care plan meetings or with billing, a lot of different things like that. We also do things like help people find places to live or transition to places. Sometimes it's very specific. We may have an individual that, or a family, maybe a couple, that one person's at one place in life and the other person needs to be more maybe in assisted living or memory care. So I may help that family find the right place for them to go to. And it may get as specific as, does that facility that we're looking at maybe have private rooms or do they have double rooms, So some families really want they have specific goals for their loved ones.
Sure.
So,
and how often are you in the various facilities in and around our community?
Daily, pretty much.
Right.
I go to all over, all places in Fort Wayne, and I continue to just kind of learn more and more about what...
But not only Fort Wayne. In
No.
Allen County, DeKalb County, Steuben County, Whitley County...
Ohio.
We have clients in Ohio.
Yes,
yeah, for sure.
Yes, we're all over the place.
We have clients in Florida. Unfortunately, we can only do that work telephonically or via Zoom, et cetera.
Yeah.
But we have clients everywhere in the Midwest and down in Florida as well.
And even in Florida, though, we don't do it in person, but I would help people just kind of locate places. So.
Sure.
Yeah, we're all over.
So your familiarity with the facilities, and it isn't. I find it interesting. People think that they want the newest, the shiniest facility, and gosh, it was just built last month, so this must be the best thing going. That's not always the case.
Yeah, no, I never know. My role is just to refer people to places that have knowledge about where they could go. So then I would give them that information or schedule a tour, go with them to the facility. But a lot of times it's, there may be like 2 or 3 options for them. I kind of narrow it down for them, and then they decide. So I've had situations where I thought maybe in my head thinking that this might be the best place for an individual. And nope. And the family might choose another place. Some places are visually more pleasing, but it doesn't mean that they're better as far as caretaking.
I remember years ago I had a client that I had referred to a particular facility. It was a lovely facility, and it was just too highfalutin for my client.
Yeah.
They weren't comfortable there.
Yeah, I had a recent incident like that where a family... I gave them 2 places, and they really liked the one because the family member just felt just like you just said, they just wanted more something kind of down home for them. Yep. They felt more comfortable with it.
Yep. There is an appropriate facility for each person.
Yes.
But also, if you've had poor experiences with particular facilities, or not you personally, but maybe your clients, it would behoove you to let your clients know. I'm letting you know, historically, we haven't had a good experience here. If you want to see it, we can, but...
Right. Yeah, and always just let them know that with every facility, I always try to inform people ahead of time. You're going to hear from people good and bad. Mm-hmm. And so let yourself be the judge of that, and you may just have to experience it yourself. But... you make that choice.
Mm. And so your care isn't limited to working as an elder care coordinator with Nugen Law and Nugen Law clients. Your care isn't limited to providing assistance to clients in facilities. My gosh, you have clients in their homes. You have clients in hospitals. You have clients in every corner of our communities.
Yeah,
for sure.
I visit. I try to meet people where they're at, and when I say that, it's in many ways, but meeting them at their homes, kind of finding out where they're at in their lives. But I really want to focus on what they need, what they want, and help guide them through that process. So, but yes, meeting them at their home, facilities. Sometimes it's hospitals. Sometimes it's restaurants, depending on what they're comfortable with.
Sure. You mentioned a phrase earlier, care plan meetings. Now, I know what that is. You may know what that is.
Yeah.
But our listeners may not know what that is. What is a care plan meeting, and when does that happen, and how do you integrate yourself into those care plan meetings?
Yeah, care plan meetings are meetings that take place at facilities. So it could be assisted living, could be memory care, it could be long-term care type of facility. So most facilities, in my opinion, they should schedule those meetings as pretty much within a week of when somebody would enter a facility. That doesn't always happen. So for me, a lot of times I'll talk to the family and ask them, hey, have they talked to you about the care plan meeting? And they look at me puzzled, like, what are you even talking about? So then that's when I step in and say, okay, we need to make this happen. And I explain to them what it is. The care plan meeting is basically to help individuals have a plan of action for their progress. So for one individual, it may be physical therapy, it may be speech therapy, it may be nursing care that provides a lot of different things. But for me, I just need to make sure that they're doing it and that the client that we're serving knows that it's supposed to be happening. In fact, last week I had a call and I talked to a family member. It's like, hey, we're supposed to be having a care plan meeting. Oh, I didn't know that. Okay, so let me help you set that up. So sometimes they have to reach out to the social worker at the facility or whoever that person may be. And
are there times where family members are either working or they're out of state and they're unable to personally attend the care plan meeting and you attend in their stead? Or
yes. Well, definitely. I mean, the goal would be to have the important parties attend, and we can make that happen. So today's age, it doesn't really matter if they're in another state or whatever. We want to make sure that they can attend. So another example this last week was where a family member is a school teacher and really can't get through the day without being at that facility. So this person is in another state, so we arranged it so that it would be after she got off her teaching schedule, and that she could attend via Zoom. So, yeah, we want to make sure that the people that are advocating important players in that meeting are there. One situation recently, we set that whole thing up before this person even came to the facility. And our whole goal there was that this person had a traumatic brain injury, and we wanted the family to express to the team, that the place that he was going to, that they know how best to work with him. So this is for success for the individual and for the family. So the people that know the person the best, we want them participating.
For sure. For sure. As a reminder, Nugen Law represents clients in Indiana, Ohio, Michigan, and Florida. If you hear something in today's broadcast which resonates with you, maybe a family member that could use the services of BG, our elder care coordinator, or another area in which we may be able to help, please call Nugen Law at 260-925-3738. Speak with one of our intake specialists and schedule a meeting for either our Fort Wayne or Auburn office locations. You're also encouraged to see us online at www.nugenlaw.com. That's NUGENLAW.com, or send us an email at help@nugenlaw.com. So I recognize that all of your clients are unique with individualized needs. However, is there a commonality which you see running through your clients when you meet them and start to become involved in their matters?
I think the most common thing is that folks are going through this stuff for the first time. Mm-hmm. They've never really had to deal with this, and whatever the situation is. So there's a lot of just like missteps if they don't have some guidance. But for me, I think the biggest thing is just knowing and understanding that this is a new process for them. And it doesn't matter whether it's going to assisted living or if somebody's in a nursing facility, helping with contacting physicians. Everybody is kind of going through this stuff for the first time. And I hear that same thing from people all the time. We're like, we didn't know what to do.
Right.
We didn't know what steps to take.
Well, I think what happens is they're dealing with a hospital or a nursing home, assisted living facility, maybe in-home care, and everybody around them, they understand the process. So they're they're marching forward. Yeah. And I repeatedly hear from families, I had no idea Mom was being discharged.
Yeah.
So they came into my office at 10 a.m. and said, Mom's being discharged at noon. What are your plans?
Yeah.
And that is not an uncommon experience whatsoever.
No. In fact, today I just got off the phone on the way here where an individual is in a facility. The individual is not ready to go home at all. And the family got notice from the insurance company that they're going to be discharged. What do we do? Well, first of all, appeal. We're gonna.
But they didn't. Did they even understand their appeal right?
Yeah, no, they don't.
So you brought that to their attention.
You let them know, like that's what you do right off the bat, and no matter what. So informing them of that, and then also for me, it's a follow up. Okay, I'm going to talk to the billing person. I'm going to talk to that agency or that facility and say, what do we need to do different? This person is not ready to go home. So again, advocating for them and helping them through that process. I was with a family yesterday where this person has appealed, and they have to go before a judge over the phone, and it's a federal thing. But they didn't know how to do the documentation. So, and it's not necessarily that I always know the answers to everything, but we help find the answers. We'll do the digging, we'll do the legwork to make that easier. It's a stressful thing for folks, especially when you're talking about big bills. If they stay, it could be a tremendous bill. It's like $13,000 for a month or so.
Yeah. Good for you. So when working with a new client, how do you get to know them? How do you understand who they are, what their needs may be?
Well, I think there's several things, but first of all, just right off the bat is just establishing a relationship with them by building trust with them. The way that I deal with people is just kind of meeting them where they're at again, getting to know them, learning a little bit about them, and I always try to find commonalities in relationships, So if they have an interest, whether it's the patient or the family member, I always try to build that. So it's so important for me to have them know me, trust me, know a little bit about me, and we become more than just. It's not a professional relationship or just a professional. It's a friendly relationship. Sure. I had a lady invite me to her home yesterday who was needing some help with some things. And I was there for over 2 hours with this individual. But you know what I know is that 2 hours was beneficial to her because I know that she is appreciating my time with her and that she knows that I'm in her court.
Right.
So.
And it feels good, doesn't it?
Oh, it's wonderful. It's a win-win.
Yeah. Not only for you, but for the client as well.
Yeah, for sure.
And what I've also found is that family members, when they're working with Nugen Law, and we talk to them about the elder care coordinator, initially they're not seeing the benefit of it. Yeah. I think what happens is as you get to know the client, as you become integrated into the family and the care as part of the care team for the client, their eyes light up, and they suddenly they came to the law firm to speak with an attorney, but the most important person, the person that they're really interested in talking to is BG. Yeah. They don't necessarily need to talk to me. They don't need to talk to the other attorney in the office, but they want to talk to BG and take care of it. I saw a client a week or so ago, visited him, and he said, "Where's the other guy?" That's how I was greeted. I walk in, and I'm going to break all this stuff down, and he could care less that I was there. Where's the other guy? So,
that's funny.
Yeah.
Well, and I will say a lot of times people don't, if they're just talking to the office at first when they're coming in, they don't really understand the value that I add.
No. Yeah.
And so I was talking to somebody yesterday, and this person was telling me, I'm helping this family transition a family member from a nursing facility out of the facility to assisted living.
Yep.
And so this person I was talking to, I had some really good news for because they thought they were going to have to go on this wait list that could be months. And I told her, I said, no, that's incorrect. We're making sure that this person is going to be able to go soon. So within 30 days, this person's now going to be able to go to an assisted living, which is a better quality of life for this person.
In that instance, it's better.
Yes, in this instance.
Sure.
Yeah, because it makes sense for him. But what she told me, she goes, by the way, she said, we renewed with you. And I said, oh, well, that's nice. I appreciate that. And she goes, well, Bryan, she goes, we need you.
Yeah.
I said, well,
it's the truth.
But I appreciated hearing that from her. So
I think that you're making my point. And it is not a situation where it's a sale or you're pushing something. It really is the level of help that you're providing for our Nugen Law clients is almost palpable. You can see the relief that they have somebody that's guiding them through the process. They're comfortable with you, a very approachable person, and they see the immediate assistance that you can provide. And it's very much appreciated by our clients, and I know that everybody else on the team appreciates the work that you do as well for our clients.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Yeah, so, this person didn't, sometimes people just don't even know. They didn't even, it was never even a thought for this family, for this person to go from a nursing facility to
back home.
Yes.
Yep.
Not even a thought. So just bringing that idea up, had another family recently where they didn't. They have a family member that has dementia, and I've suggested to them, why don't you talk to a hospice organization? Never even thought about it.
Well, people are afraid of hospice. They hear that word. They don't really appreciate all the benefits that hospice brings to the table.
And that's what I told them, though. Just talk to them. Get the information. Learn about it. And they were so happy. That family member actually ended up dying. Wasn't not in anybody's sight. I mean, I figured the gentleman would last another year or so. You know, but he ended up passing about a month later. But they were so happy about it. And I met with that lady, the wife, yesterday, and she was telling me of all the benefits, not just for their family, but all the relationships that they've established with those people.
Well, what you're doing is allowing the family members to focus on love and affection for their loved one that may be declining, and you're lifting a huge burden and giving them guidance. They're in this funnel, and it's very confusing if you've not been in it before, and you're offering them a way out, a ray of light.
Yeah, and I think sometimes it's just small things like. I took a checklist over somebody yesterday, and she asked me to do something for her, and it was like it's just one less thing for their family. We're always striving towards getting the family to spend good time together and less work time together. Not always focusing on what's next to do.
Sure.
So if I can take some of that burden off or give them some tips, then I do that. So.
Excellent. So as a reminder, Nugen Law represents clients in Indiana, Ohio, Michigan, and Florida. If you hear something in today's broadcast which resonates with you, an area in which we may be able to help, please call Nugen Law at 260-925-3738 and schedule a meeting with one of our intake specialists to see one of our attorneys, BG, et cetera. We'd be very pleased to help out. You also can send us an email at help@nugenlaw.com. That's HELP@NUGENLAW.com. So, BG, I've always felt that working with clients early on, before they're in a crisis mode, is better. You get to understand the client, what goals they have for themselves, what concerns they may have. What do you think is earlier better? Do you prefer to be called in when there is an emergency happening? Where do you stand?
Yeah, I agree. It's always better to, kind of take early steps to kind of prevent things, whatever those situations are with families. And there's a lot of different situations out there. But I do believe that it's best to do it that way. But I will say also, like, it for me, it doesn't really matter because we jump in, or I jump in, the whole team actually jumps in, no matter where they're at in their situation, their life situation. So sometimes we may get a call like, we need this to happen immediately. I mean, I can tell you some, where a family, we needed to get some signatures, right away because we didn't know if this gentleman was going to continue with care or not. And, so we're there to step in whatever, but I do believe that it is better to get started earlier. And really with the law firm is just the thinking is let's plan about life. Let's think ahead about what's
holistically.
Coming. Yes.
It's not just about coming to Nugen Law to have a document prepared and I'll see you in 20 years when things go bad.
Yeah, exactly.
That's not our philosophy. Our philosophy is we're holistically caring for the client. Yeah. So yes, we are preparing those legal instruments for you. Yes, we're getting your estate planning in place. Yes, we're protecting assets and securing benefits for Medicaid, VA, making sure that you don't lose your money if you go to the nursing home or a memory care unit.
Yeah.
But we're also providing to you elder care coordinator that's touching base with you on a very regular basis. As often as you need access to the ECC, you've got access to him or her.
Yeah. Just an example this week is I met with a family who both the couple are both in their middle upper 80s. They still live at home. We continue to talk about places that they may like to move to. And then I had an individual to come and talk to them about downsizing. And, it's kind of on their schedule. We don't want to be there to push them to anything, but we want to be there to be supportive. Like, hey, if you have a question about this place, we're going to get the information for you. Or if you are having trouble downsizing, how can we help you with that, And I met with that family again. I was with them almost 2 hours that day. And after the person that was there to help them kind of with some ideas about how they might downsize, the family met with me afterwards, and we had some additional ideas. So it's just helping people through their life.
And having a working knowledge of the resources in our community to be able to assist your clients, that's key. Aside from our clients, I find that you, and by extension our firm as a whole, establish relationships with family members of our clients as well.
Yeah.
I mean, I found that family members recognize that mom or dad, husband, wife, brother, sister may open up to you and be vulnerable with you in a way that they wouldn't be with family members because they don't want someone telling them what to do, and they're going to show them they're still in charge. And so I think that happens.
Yeah, we do have that. And, I'm there to be supportive of everybody. I love working with the families. In fact, I get, really a great friendships and relationships from not just the individual, but the family members. And I just want to show my love and concern for everybody there.
Sure.
Because it's not just the individual, the client that we're serving. We are serving everybody in that family.
Of course. All right. So speaking of family, are family members always living here locally that you're working with?
No. Regularly, we work with family members. Example is we had somebody, an individual that we just recently worked with down in southern Indiana, helped with them. One sister who is two sisters of this individual. One sister lives in Minnesota. The other sister lives in Iowa. And the client that we're serving is in Indiana. So I'm working with family members in 2 other states, coordinating with them. Met one of the family members at the facility where this person was at in southern Indiana. We work with people everywhere. I regularly, just this morning, texting with an individual that lives in Washington, D.C. with her father lives near us here, and I go to see him, and I feel like for that piece too, is that they know that somebody has their eyes on their person that they love and aren't able to see them. So,
well, this afternoon we have a telephone conference with a client out of Florida.
That's right.
So it's Washington State, Florida, Indiana, Ohio, Michigan. We're all over the place. So once you've met the client and gotten to know their family and loved ones, what do you do with the information you've gained to best serve them?
Well, I kind of synthesize all that information, So like for me, I will use whatever I need from each individual. So like this morning, talking to a father and talking to a son, contacting them. But again, keeping everybody in the loop. So I want to communicate. Communication, I think, is the biggest key to my job. Keeping on top of things, communicating with every interested family member. And
for people to be heard.
Yes.
Right.
Yeah. Well, listening's key to everything. And that's, again, a big part of relationship building. If they know that you're paying attention to them and that you take their concerns seriously, and you can let them know that by example that you've heard what they've said and that you prioritize whatever it is that's important to them, that's huge.
Yeah, I think a great part of our job is allowing loved ones, spouses, family members, et cetera, to maintain their historic relationship with our clients. For a child to be a child, not a direct caregiver. Spouse to be able to age gracefully without being consumed by the direct care needs of their husband or their wife. How do you see yourself as an elder care coordinator at Nugen Law assisting loved ones to maintain their traditional roles with your clients?
Well, by kind of, again, taking away some of those jobs. And there's a lot of resistance, I think, to that because sometimes family members, they get into that caretaking role, and it's hard for them to give that up. So I have to convince them that that the time that they spend with their family members should be and can be more valuable if you're doing that traditional thing. You're going out to dinner with mom, or you're doing that instead of taking her to the doctor's appointment. Let me figure out some transportation things for you. Let me figure out, how can we do this differently? Maybe there's a nurse practitioner that can come to your home instead of you taking them to the doctor.
Excellent. A question which our listeners may have now is, how does this level of service paid? So Nugen Law utilizes something called a flat fee or value-based billing for work. So if our clients speak with you once a day, once a week, 5 times a week, several times a month, their cost remains the same. We don't track our time on an hourly basis for work like this. Our listeners should also know that not only would your clients receive your assistance, they're also entitled to have access to our Medicare specialist to either determine what Medicare and supplemental plans they should have in place. But Nugen Law, we also have a certified public accounting firm that's in-house. So we prepare our clients' personal tax returns, all without additional charge. So we have a flat fee, value-based system. We don't track our time. So thank you for listening to Preserving Your Dignity and Your Money, Planning for Successful Aging, and with Nugen Law. And to our guest, Bryan Grubb, BG, thank you for coming in today. Look forward to speaking with our listeners next weekend, Saturday at 9 a.m. here on WOWO. Enjoy your weekend.
You've been listening to Preserving Your Dignity and Your Money, Planning for Successful Aging with Nugen Law. For more information, log on to NugenLaw.com or email help@NugenLaw.com. Nothing stated in today's program should be considered as legal advice, should not be considered as having created an attorney-client relationship between show host and guests and any listener. Nugen Law is not liable for anything that happens as a result of a listener relying on provided information as legal advice. The content is for informational purposes only.